Привет всем забугорным! I'm Russian and I'll tell my tale from the Russian point of view because we also want to be heard. In one of my previous videos, I've mentioned that Russia has quite an interesting history of giving names to orphans. So I've decided to talk a little bit more about this topic. And let's start from patronymics. In Russian tradition, patronymics are a part of personal name that you receive based on your father's name. Russian patronymics were first mentioned in the year 945 and up until 19th century, by the way, were playing the role of surnames for many people. I know that many foreigners have hard time distinguishing Russian patronymics and surnames. So, patronymics generally end with vich for men and vna for women. As an example, let's say that Genya and David decided to have a baby together. Their boy would be Davidovich and their girl would be Davidovna. Though during my research I found out that originally only aristocratic families were allowed to form their patronymics this way. Literally everyone else were doing it the way Bulgarians are doing it, that is, adding an ov or ova ending. So, since no one in the Shadow&Bone universe seems to have a father, I'm going to just make up an example myself and claim that this guy is going to be Mikhail Ivanov's son. But what if you are a foreigner? Well, I'm afraid patronymics are mandatory. So, for example, when Alina's unnamed mother moved to Ravka, she must have been given one, even though she is not Ravkan herself. In the real world, no matter if you are Chinese, Brazilian, or an American whose paternal grandparents were a bit too creative, you will still get a patronymic the moment you become a Russian citizen. But what if the father is not in the picture? Well, in case when everybody knows who the father is, a woman can give a child his or her real patronymic. So, let's say that Alina and Duckling are the endgame, and somewhere in the process they ended up having a baby, but suddenly General decides to nip the hell out of this situation. Alina can still give her child a patronymic Alexandrovich if it's a boy, and Alexandrovna if it's a girl, as a way of saying, "You bastard, everybody knows that's your child, grow up already!" I actually know a few similar stories. So yeah, if a mother wants her child to know or to eventually find out about the real dad, nothing prevents her from putting the father's name into the documents. Giving someone your name for a patronymic doesn't automatically mean that you have to pay a child support. Hopefully, good consciousness makes you do that, or at least a court order. But what if a woman doesn't know or doesn't want to mention the father? Well, if a mother has a good relationship with her father or even grandfather, she can give a baby their patronymic, since they will be the main male figures in the baby's life. So, since Darkling's father is some unnamed dude, theoretically his patronymic could be Ilyich, just like Lenin's. Poor Darkling, you keep messing with his names. Now, another possibility. When a mother has a name which has a male version, she may also put that as a patronymic. So, for example, Genya's name is one of the most common cases. Okay, the full name Yevgenia and the male equivalent Yevgeny. But the butchered version from the series can work as well. So the potential children could be Genyevich or Genyevna, depending on the gender. And if none of the above fits, well, the answer is easy. A woman can name her baby after whoever she wants. A favorite movie star, a 19th century poet, or someone nice who helped her in the time of need, etc., etc. As I said, there are no rules to prevent you from doing that. But what if there are no parents in the picture at all? For example, Alina and Marlin were raised in Duke Karamzov's orphanage, and I'm sure that quite a few children ended up there not because of the fault. So, what about them? Well, it's a common practice to give abandoned children a patronymic after the head of the orphanage. And I would love to tell you what that is in this case, but apparently Duke is Karamzov's occupation, and not the most historically accurate at that, and not a name. So your guess is as good as mine. I've also heard of one interesting case where an orphanage had a patronymic assigned to a specific year, so any child with unknown parentage would automatically be given this year's patronymic. And of course, the general rule with gender switching the nurse's name and just putting a random name also applies. Well, that's it for now. Subscribe if you like to learn about Russia and Russian culture. And thanks for listening. Пока-пока.